Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started, so if you can please take your seats. So, we're here at day one. Finally, Remax KickStart has begun. Who's excited? Oh, come on, you guys can do better than that. There we go. There we go. I'm Shelby Schneider. I'm the Director of PR and Communications at the regional office, and I'm here to introduce one lovely gentleman from BombBomb. We're all here today because we are here to talk about video. We all know how powerful a tool it is, and with the way that real estate is going now, this is the way that you're going to build your business. So the truth is, if you're not using video marketing, you're going to lose customers because there's someone else who's doing it already. Today, our friends from BombBomb will help you learn how to overcome the obstacles that prevent agents and brokers alike from getting started with video. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ethan from BombBomb.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shelby. Appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. I know you have a lot of choices, right? Like right now you could be in 4 other sessions. Or you might be somewhere else. You have a lot of people that need your time, a lot of people that need your attention, a lot of people with things to share. So I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to be here with me today at KickStart in room 801. Really appreciate it. So this session is about building relationships with simple videos. I want to emphasize simple because you hear about video, you heard what Shelby had to say off the top, and you maybe feel intimidated, you maybe feel overwhelmed, you don't know where to start and all of that. So I really want to break it down. My goal is that 45 minutes from right now, I'm going to try to save 5 or 10 minutes for Q&A, but I like to provide context for things, so I might push it up against that limit. But my goal is at the end of this 45 minutes that you feel more inspired, a little more prepared, and excited to start making simple videos. And if not for the new leads coming in through your website, then for current active clients or for past clients, simple thank you notes and that kind of a thing. So my name is Ethan. I'm with BombBomb. You can find me on Twitter at Ethan Beute. I'm everywhere by my first name, last name. Hashtag for the event, by the way, for anyone that's doing anything online is RMXKS, Remax KickStart 14 for 2014. I've been involved with BombBomb for about 4.5 years. I've been a full-time member of the team for about 2 or 2.5 years. But prior to that, my background was in local television marketing and promotion. So I worked at, I'm from the States, from Colorado. And so like your ABC station or NBC station or Fox station, running teams of folks and preparing the stuff myself, writing, producing, and editing campaigns made of TV spots and cable spots and radio ads and print ads and contest promotions, social media, and all of that. So that's the background that I come with, but none of the work that I ever did was in front of the camera, which I do now. It was all behind the camera, writing and producing. BombBomb started in 2006. We're in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado. And more than half of our customers are real estate, mortgage, and title professionals. So we're working with folks like you every single day. We know what your challenges are. We know what your successes are. We know what your business model looks like. And so we're constantly talking with you on the phone, taking your emails, and helping you build relationships and grow your business. The rest of our customers are literally all kinds of individuals and businesses and organizations throughout the United States and around the world. 45 countries, of course, very strong presence in Canada. Secondarily, maybe UK, Australia, and then a bunch of other countries where we might have 1 or 2 or 3 customers. But really the core is US and Canada. And it ties into my whole message here, which is nearly every single individual, business, and organization on the planet can benefit from having a basic, very basic competency around video. And so you might be thinking about your real estate business and video, but also think about the other things that you're involved in, your personal life, your family members, your friends, that nonprofit board that you're a volunteer on. You can use videos to do fundraising, event invites, and all of that. So there are infinitely many ways to use video, and what we do is make it easy to put those videos in emails, send them out, and track the results. So there are a lot of ways to do that. So I'm going to start with a couple questions from our friend Steve Passanelli with Tech Savvy Agent. Anyone know Tech Savvy Agent? Great. He likes to ask these questions from time to time, and it fits in what I'm doing here. So think about all those new leads coming in through your website. Think about your current active clients. Think about your past clients. Think about the other agents on your team. Think about the other agents in your market. When you're trying to connect with those folks, when you're trying to communicate with those folks, when you're trying to build relationships, build rapport, build trust, all those things that are a foundation of your relationship and referral-based business, when you're trying to connect with those folks, are you better in a traditional email that you type out and send over to them? Or are you better when you get them on the phone? On the phone. Everyone says on the phone. It's totally true. You're better on the phone. Man, if I can just get them on the phone, it's going to be a much more dynamic experience. They're going to feel my personality, experience, enthusiasm, and all of that. Are you better on the phone? Or are you better if you can get together with them in person? You're better in person. Everyone is better in person. It's just much more dynamic. If I can just get down across the table over a listing presentation, this thing is going to go great. It's so much better than if I just talk to them on the phone. Right? So the cool thing about simple videos is that they allow you to be there in person when you can't be there in person. Maybe you don't have a phone number to connect with them. Maybe you can't make that appointment. Maybe they're out of the region. Maybe you're working in Vancouver and the referral is coming to you from Edmonton and you haven't met that person. You can't get together over coffee with that person. How do you be there in person when you can't be there in person? Video allows you to do that. And the cool thing is, you shoot it at your convenience and they watch it at their convenience. So it doesn't have to be synchronous either like a phone call does. Or you make a simple video and it's for a dozen people and they can all be with you presently at one time when you can really only be in one place at one time. Or dozens of people or hundreds of people, your entire database. There's so many different ways to use simple videos to be there in person as if you're across the table over coffee or lunch with somebody. Nice and personal. So, why video? These are the 3 C's of video. It's what I call the 3 C's, and these are to hopefully inspire you to get going with video. The first C is that it's complete communication. And it's complete because it's infused. A video is infused with all that subtlety and nuance and emotion, all that nonverbal communication that our brains are wired to receive off one another. We're fellow human beings. We're social creatures. And so we communicate a lot more than simply the words that come out of our mouth. And that's why being there in person is so much more powerful than being on the phone, because what you're communicating isn't just about the words you're saying, or in a traditional email where you type the words out and you send it to somebody. It's not just about the words. It's about all that nonverbal communication that we, as social creatures, are wired to receive off one another. So it's a complete piece of communication. It's complementary. Think about all of your online marketing right now. That's your website or multiple websites, blog posts, landing pages, listing pages, social media, email marketing. Think about all the online marketing that you're doing. It's comprised of text, right? Headlines, subheadlines, bullet point lists, paragraphs, and all that. It's text and images, pictures, logos, graphics, etc. So all these materials are made up of text and images. So typically when people think about video, and this may be where you are, you think about YouTube or Vimeo. And in those cases, the video is an island. It lives out on its own on this website. And sure, it's titled up, but no one's reading the description down below. It's all about that video. So the video needs to be complete. It needs to be one item unto itself. It needs to start, proceed, conclude, and make sense all unto itself. Whereas, what I'd love for you to break out of is that mindset and start imagining a video in a blog post or a video in an email that you send out. And in this way, the videos can be made to complement the text and images. So you don't need to reiterate it. You don't need to cover everything in the video. The video is simply there to complement the text and the images, to bring that message to life, to humanize it, and to allow people to connect to the information in a more human way, a more social way, a more natural way. And as far as natural goes, it's compelling. Video is compelling. If let's pretend you're the client, I am the agent, and we have a counteroffer, and I can't get you on the phone. Maybe you're tied up, I can't get you. And I need to communicate what's going on with that counteroffer, pros, cons, and what my recommendation is, and emphasize the fact that I need to talk to you today. We need to get on this situation. If I give you 5 or 6 or 8 paragraphs of text explaining that, or a 45-second video where you just take out your iPhone, hit record, and say, hey, Steve, good news, bad news here. Want to talk to you about the offer that we put in. We got a counteroffer. Here's kind of what's going on with it. This is what I think is good about it. This is what's questionable. We need to talk about this today, right? A simple way to digest that information that's natural. If I send you that video, instead of sending you 8 paragraphs of text explaining the same thing, A, you don't have to hunker down over your mobile device because you're in between meetings. You don't have to do any of that. You just hit record and say what you want to say to the person or people you need or want to say it to. It's much more naturally produced for you, and it's much more naturally consumed for them because it's as if you are across the table over coffee or lunch. It's simple, personal communication. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Ethan, I've heard some of this before. This makes sense to me. I like what you're saying, but I'm not doing video. I saw the guy in my office does a lot of video. This other agent that's at a competitive office, yeah, he actually is a BombBomb customer. I get his emails from time to time. But there's no way you're going to get me to point the camera at myself and talk at it. And I know why that is. Here are 3 common objections, and I'm certain that if you are resistant to the idea of doing simple personal videos, it's due to one or more of these factors. Number 1, I am not comfortable on camera. Gosh, Ethan, man, if I get him on the phone, it goes really, really well. If I can sit down across the table, it's really, really, but as soon as you hit record, I just get tight and it's awkward and it's, it's not good. I know how that goes. Looking a camera in the lens and communicating it with it as if you're communicating with another person, it's not a natural activity. It's not natural, it's not normal. It's something that you're going to need to practice a little bit, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So this idea that you're not comfortable, that's not unique. Maybe 5% of you, 10% of you that haven't done video will start doing it and you'll be naturals and you'll be running right out of the gate. The rest of us, me, I did 1 or 2 videos every single morning when I started with BombBomb for people in my sphere of influence, past colleagues, family members, friends, college friends, and all of that. Every morning, 1 or 2 videos for a month. Now, it didn't take me the whole month to get comfortable, but it took me the first handful to get basically comfortable. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, do not worry about that. It's normal, it's natural, and you will work through it. Number 2, I don't like the way I look. Now, several things going on here. First, we are human. We're all professionals. If you are here at this event, you're a top-notch professional. And so you're self-critical, not just about your physical appearance, but about your performance on the basketball court, or your performance in the yoga class, or your performance in sales volume. Any of these things. You want to be better in all of this. So I get it. We're self-critical in all of this. We're also vain. We also have egos. I understand this. Here's the deal. It's not really a secret, but I do hate to spoil it for you. Think again about those past clients, your current active clients, the agents in your office, the agents in your market. They already know what you look like. They already know. It's not a secret. So this idea that you're going to hide from everybody by not making simple videos is foolishness. It's really foolish. And I don't mean to denigrate anyone that feels sincerely about this. There's no other way to say it. You need to get over yourself. You need to move through it. You should be proud of who you are, what you're about. Video is about being unique. It's about differentiating yourself. The way you connect and communicate with people when you're physically present with them, no one else can do that. That is who you are. And video is the same thing, except it's packaged up in this medium to allow it to be more convenient and viewed in different ways. So if you don't like the way you look, you need to move through that, because it's not a secret. Finally, I don't know what to use. I get this too. I used to work at several television stations, expensive equipment, crazy stuff, software, hardware, green screens, lights, different equipment, different file formats, all this jargon. Here's the deal. That's all irrelevant today, unless you're already down that road. Then it might be more relevant to you. But as far as simple videos go, you don't need to know any of that. You might grow into it if you find that you really like it, you enjoy it, you maybe want to start editing your videos. Or you want to upgrade to a nicer camera or something like that. You might go down that road of getting into all the details, but today, that does not matter. Here's why. Start with a webcam. These are 5 different cameras. Webcam, simple tool to use at your office or your home office. Great for using at your desk to pop simple video notes for people. It's inexpensive as $30, as much as maybe $100. By the way, that's US dollars per Amazon.com. I did not do the translation. I apologize. I don't know what the current exchange rate is, but inexpensive. And I definitely recommend an external webcam that you plug in to your computer, typically by USB, rather than the one that's built into your laptop or built into your monitor, because it's going to be a little bit higher quality. It's going to be higher quality audio as well as higher quality video. So I love a webcam. This should be in the mix probably, and you probably already own one. Number 2, your mobile device. You have that on you right now. I haven't heard any go off, so that's really, appreciate that. You already own it, and you're using it for dozens, if not hundreds, or maybe thousands for the hardcore folks, of other purposes. But there are many reasons I like the mobile device for video, and we're going to see some examples in just a minute. Almost all of them are iPhone or Android videos. Reasons I love it. 1, they're constantly improving the cameras in these devices. They know how you are using them. Right? If you went out and Googled iPhone 5 versus Galaxy S4 versus HTC One versus, let's say, Nokia Lumia, if you looked at the flagship phones for each of the major manufacturers, guaranteed when they analyze them side by side, whether it's TechCrunch or any of these other websites that will compare these phones, one of the blocks is going to be about the camera. because they know that it's really, really important. There's an arms race around this, so they're constantly getting better. In fact, I leave off the flip phone, or the flip camera, the Sony Bloggy, the Kodak PlaySport, those little handheld cameras that used to be really popular a few years ago. I leave those off because your mobile phone is way better. Secondly, you can add additional hardware and software to these things. Software, just go out and Google best video apps for iPhone, best video tools for Android or whatever. You'll find a lot of different things. There'll be some combination of they might let you edit the video. They might give you more control over the camera so that you can shoot different styles of video and those kinds of things. So you can add a lot of different software to your phone to affect the videos. In addition, though, you can get extra hardware. You can get little things that snap onto your iPhone that allow you to mount it to a tripod, or little tripods for it. You can get little lights to go on them. You can get microphones and all this stuff. So you can go down those roads to add hardware and software to your mobile device. If you want to style that thing up, you can get wide-angle lenses, little telephoto lenses, and all of this. There's a lot of stuff around there. You can just Google that stuff. Camcorder. I love the camcorder because unlike the two other cameras you see on the screen, it has a lens system in it. Right? So if you want the ability to zoom in and see those guys really close at the back of the room, or pull out wide and see the whole room, in this case you might be trying to shoot the whole kitchen from the hallway or whatever, it gives you the ability to zoom in and out. A little flip screen that comes out, all touchscreen controls. If you're going to look at a camcorder, if you find it convenient, if you haven't picked one up, by the way, they sit right in the palm of your hand, really tiny, really convenient. If you're going to look at these, I definitely recommend an external microphone jack, the ability to plug in a separate microphone down the line. The onboard microphones are pretty good, but they're not great. And they'll pick up wind noise and things, whereas if you get a separate microphone down the line, you'll be able to plug that in and put it up on yourself or whatever else you want to do, orient it a little bit. So very convenient. I wouldn't spend any less than $300 because otherwise you might just as well use your mobile device. I wouldn't spend any more than $800-ish unless you're really hardcore, or else you might just as well get a DSLR, and that's the nice Nikon, Canon, Sony makes a lot of good ones. In this case, Olympus is what I use. Cool thing about the DSLR is that you shoot super high quality photos and videos with the same device. So you carry one device around and you get high quality photos and videos. Particularly helpful, obviously, if you're shooting your own properties. Even if you're doing it informally for a client, they're not like the full marketing photo set. But you might shoot some photos and videos. You're going to do nice stuff with one device here. $600 to $1,200 is extremely conservative on the cost, especially if you want to get extra lenses, that telephoto lens or the wide-angle lens or any of that stuff. It can get very, very expensive. If you are not motivated toward photography or videography in general, if it's not interesting to you, if it's not a potential hobby for you, this is probably going to be too much because although it has full automatic settings, it's not quite as easy to use as any of the other ones that you see here. The learning curve on it is a little bit steeper. The payoff is higher, but the learning curve is steeper and the price point is higher. Finally, the point and shoot. Did I put this up here because I love this video camera? I did not. No. In fact, this is worse than any of the other ones up here. I put it on here because you might have been carrying it around in your purse or your pocket. You have it for the soccer game or the birthday party or the family get-together or whatever, simple snapshots. And it probably has a video setting. My whole point on this slide is if you aspire to communicate with video at all, you need to use what you already own. Pick up these devices. You own one or more of these already. Use what you already own because the first video you make is not going to be your best video. In fact, it might not be any good at all. You may never send it. You might never share it. No big deal. But if you aspire to do this, you need to start somewhere. So I highly recommend starting with devices that you already own. And then when you start running into the limitations of that device, that's when you start shopping for what's next. You don't need to put an unnecessary hurdle in your way that says, okay, I need to make a budget and I need to figure out what the best DSLR for video is. And so you're going out and Googling that and trying to find the nuances between these two models. And is this one worth $200? It's nonsense. Start with what you already own. You're carrying it around in your pocket right now. Let's look at some examples. So we'll start with a one-to-one video send. This is Michael Thorne. You may know him. He's in the Vancouver area. And these are all, by the way, videos in emails that I grabbed with permission from our customers' accounts. So I just wanted to share some videos with you, give you a sense of what you can do with simple videos.
Hey Monique, it's Michael. I just finished up a meeting and I'm popping into another one and I got your email and I want to respond, and writing an email for that length would be hard. So I thought I'd just shoot you a little video. Yesterday was amazing, although the story's a little bit different. Our goal was to sponsor.
Right, so what do we have there? We have him sitting in his car with his iPhone. He's in between meetings. This is from a holiday fundraiser, right? So he got this long email from the other person that's helping run and coordinate this fundraiser. And so what he says is, hey, got your email, wanted to respond between meetings. He doesn't want to hunker down over his phone, saw what you said, want to give you some updates, he just hits record and says what he wants to say for the person he wants to say it to. Much more human, much more natural, much stronger connection. I don't know if you're getting any video emails from Michael, but you feel connected to him. I had never met him, but we had swapped video emails, and I had spoken with him before through a Google Hangout. But I felt like I knew him when I met him last night. It's a really powerful and interesting thing. And it's very simple. You don't need to worry about spelling. You don't need to worry about grammar. You don't need to, this is the worst, by the way, autocorrect. You don't need to worry about autocorrect. You just hit record and say what you want to say to the person or people you want to say it to. This is Chris Smith. You might know him from PeopleWork. He's been working with Loop and Austin Allison, and they're putting their PeopleWork book out. You might know him from Curator.com. You might remember him from the Inman circuit. He did a lot of speaking and presenting. He also does a weekly web show. And so what he was doing here was updating his thousands of people on his list that want to know about the show and what's going on. The show is going to be canceled. And so instead of just sending out an email that says, "We are sorry, the show is canceled," he says, "We are sorry, please watch the video."
What's going on, guys? It's Chris. I'm on a train right now, and I'm letting you know that the water cooler is not happening tonight, but I want to give you the reason why. It's not because I'm on a train. Jimmy Mackin, co-host, is in Paris. Oui. He just got engaged, so he's taking some personal time off. I'm heading to NAR in San Francisco. I just left DC. You guys can see the window. I love trains, you guys. Look how much space there is. There's even plugs. Look how empty it is. So I'm on the train. There's not going to be a show tonight.
Right? So what a powerful thing. He's not going to be in front of you this week on his show, which is called Water Cooler, that he does with Jimmy Mack, and they bring on a ton of smart guests. It's a cool show. But he's still in front of you, right? Thousands of people. For you, it might be hundreds, or it might be many hundreds, or it might be thousands, whatever your database is. It's a way to stay in front of them in a personal way that they can feel connected to you. And it's much different than the experience of just, hey, there's no show this week. Send, right? And he said he got much more response. He shoots a ton of videos, does a lot of video emails, very comfortable doing video. But he said he got more response to this one, people replying to him, people tweeting it out, because it was simple. It was behind the scenes. You felt like you were there on the scene with him in a different way than if he just explained, I'm on a train going to DC to fly to San Francisco, type, send it out. You feel like you're there with him. Jeff Rubenstein, Fort Collins, Colorado. I'll explain it, and then I'll play it. So he gets a referral from Out of the Market. This is a great be there in person when you can't be there in person situation. He is in Fort Collins, Colorado. Right up from us, we're in Colorado Springs, which is about an hour south of Denver, world headquarters. And he gets a referral from Houston. And a friend of him calls up and says, hey, this family is looking to move to Fort Collins. They're looking to move pretty quickly. It's a husband and a wife and 4 kids, and you're going to want to get in front of her. And so instead of, I believe he left her a voicemail, as you would probably do immediately. But then he had his wife hold the iPhone, and he shot this in his own backyard with his kids. No shame in using children as props, by the way. If you're trying to sell a family, it's okay to show yourself as a family person.
Hi, Christy. My name is Jeff Rubenstein, CEO of the Rubenstein Group and Keller Williams Realty in Fort Collins, Colorado. I just got home from work, but I wanted to send you a quick email. Our strategic business partner, Kamika Hampton, in the Houston area, informed us that you're going to be moving to the Fort Collins area.
Right, and then he goes on to talk a little bit about the values of his company and how he wants to talk to her, and my contact information is down below. Now, he's not a luxury guy, but the husband was very successful, and he ended up buying a $1.9 million home with him. Now, I'm not saying that this is solely responsible for it, but you don't know when that call comes to you how many other people may have gotten that same call, right? How many other agents at Fort Collins got the call? We don't know, but this is certainly a nice first personal touch that allows that potential home buyer or actual home buyer to feel connected to you in a different way. It's your face, your voice, your personality, your expertise, a sense of what your values are, and all these things that you can communicate in simple videos that you cannot do by typing it out. You can say it, but it's not the same thing. By the way, I don't have any customer testimonials in here, but hearing what your customers say about you is infinitely more valuable than hearing what you have to say about you. So think about that as well. I'm focused on you appearing in simple videos here, but there are a number of ways, obviously, that you can use it. This is Buddy Blake. He's in Wilmington, North Carolina. Highly, highly prolific person, huge producer, big team, multiple offices, hundreds and hundreds of agents, tons of production. If that setup does not tell you that this is good enough, or the Chris Smith one for that matter, if this is not good enough, then I don't think you're getting my point of simple video. So check this out.
Hey everybody, this is Buddy reporting from Wrightsville Beach today. Happy Monday to you. It is gorgeous out here, and you might ask, why am I standing on the beach? Our daughter has surf camp this week, and if you want to see what surf camp looks like, you can see in the background, they're up there doing their schooling part. This is day one, all their safety stuff. But anyway, just want to let you know things are very, very busy, continue to be busy in the real estate market here and everywhere, especially coastal areas.
So what do we know about Buddy? He's always working. That man is always working. Good. We know he's a dad. We know he doesn't shuttle the kids off or put them off with a nanny. He's there on the beach with his daughter doing surf camp. We know that it's good enough for him, huge producer, to look straight at the sun with his iPhone. That's an obvious no-no. It's actually one of my tips for better looking videos that I'll close with. Don't do that. But if you do you need to throw it away? No, it's good enough. Good enough is a much lower threshold than you imagine. That's because we've all been conditioned to television productions and film productions and live broadcasts that are super highly produced. That's all. We do not need to worry about any of that here. Jay Macklin. Jay Macklin is in Scottsdale, Arizona. #1 office net gains year to date in recruiting for RE/MAX Southwest region. Whole region, #1 office. We swapped emails over the weekend. He said, I just recruited 7 agents in the past 2 weeks, and every one of them said, I like getting your videos. I felt like I knew you before I ever came into the office to meet you. Great way to, in this case, he's recruiting agents, obviously. In your case, you might be recruiting agents, or you may be following up with new website leads. Either way, this is about people experiencing who you are and what you're about before you ever get the chance to meet them, or to provide that as an additional touch after you do.
I just want to chat with you about it, see if you guys are open. I'd love to show you the new office that's going to open up right next to AJ's. I know you're close. I'd love to show you some of my marketing, what we're doing to get leads, 400 to 500 a month that we off to the agents and give them. So anyway, I'm sure Michelle told you a little bit about that. But give me a call. Just shoot me an email from this, or feel free to click around any of the links that I have below.
Right, so there's that complimentary piece. He knows his video, in this case, is in an email. Yours might be in a web page or a blog post. And you refer to the things happening around it. Hey, click on some of the links down below. Right? So he knows where he is. The client or the agent knows where he is. And that's just a simple webcam at his desk. Right? You feel like you might be sitting across the desk from him. It's just a whole different way to communicate. That touch after you get someone on the phone, and now you want to make that appointment, this is a nice touch to have in that step to help them feel like they know who you are and make that decision whether or not they want to do a meeting with you. If they choose not to meet with you because of your face or your voice or your personality, is that a problem? No, it's not. Because the minute they sit down over the table and they're going to make those same judgments, if they're going to do that, you just wasted both of your time. Well, it helped them because they were able to make that judgment. But for you, you just wasted your time setting that appointment, all that. This idea of withholding for any reason who you are, what you're about, what your tone is, what your manner is, your enthusiasm, your energy level, your expertise. There's no reason to hold any of this stuff back because it is so core to the service that you offer. What differentiates you from her if you're in the same town in terms of helping people buy and sell homes is who you are and what you're about. And that's what simple videos can help you communicate. Last example here, this is John and Tammy Glover. They're from Jacksonville, Florida, and they're saying thank you to a client. They got a really nice gift card from a client. Has that ever happened to you, by the way? I don't know how common that is. Awesome, good, I see some heads nodding. So this happened a while back, and so they sent a thank you note immediately. They probably took them to lunch or something like that, but several months later, as you'll hear in the video, they just popped this simple thing, and this is actually John holding out his laptop. He's a laptop like this one. He's actually just holding out his laptop and swinging it around here. Super low quality production, but really nice, sincere, personal touch. Whoops, let's go back.
Hey, John and Sharon, it's Tammy and John. And we want to thank you for the lovely gift that you provided to us. It's been a while back, but there's a special reason why we waited so long to use it.
Yes, it is our 5th anniversary, and we're able to spend it here at the beautiful Ritz in Amelia Island. Look at our view from our room. Let me see if I can spin it around here and look at the sunset. Oh, it's going down here, but it was a beautiful sunset, and we're so blessed to have people like you in our lives.
Sincerity, emotion, gratitude, simple things that you can communicate with simple videos, right? He's just holding up his laptop. Hey, it's Tammy and John. Thank you so much. It's been a while, but we were waiting for our anniversary. Check out how nice this place is. We're so blessed to have you in our lives. It's something you can't do. You could type it out. You could text it. You could leave it as a voicemail. It's not the same thing. And simple to do. Now, let's pretend that you said, gosh, Ethan, I saw some interesting examples. It got my mind running. I feel like I can do this. I feel confident to pick up my Android or my iPhone or whatever and shoot some simple videos. At least experiment with it. Here are 12 tips for better looking videos. Number 1, practice. I alluded this before, and I'll repeat it now. Anything that you want basic proficiency in. New sport, hobby, activity, musical instrument, foreign language, anything you want basic proficiency in, you need to practice. And this is really no different. Again, some share of you, 5 or 10%, will be naturals and it won't be a big deal. But most of us, we need to practice a little bit. And it's not too much to ask. Anything you want to be good at, you need to practice a little bit. So if you don't like your first video, no big deal. If you flub a line, well, actually, we saw a couple examples there where people misspoke a little bit and corrected themselves and kept going. Again, it's conversational is the whole point. But this idea that because your first try didn't work for you, so you're just going to quit, you wouldn't do that with anything else that was important to you personally, or important to you professionally, or important to you intellectually, things that you're interested in and want to do. You spend some time on them. And it's okay to practice before you get a little bit basically polished. Reduce distractions. Now, this is one of those where if there are distractions for you or for the recipient, it's going to inhibit the whole reason you made the video in the first place. And so, video is a container, right? So just like you would type out a traditional email and send that to someone, it's you as the sender of the message, the package that the message goes in that case it's an email or it could be a video, and then on the other end you have a recipient. So in the case of writing an email, if you're not a good writer, if it's not clearly expressed, it's not going to be received well and understood on the other side, or if they're not super literate or something. They'll also have trouble kind of breaking through what you were trying to say. Same thing with video. So anything that's going to be distracting to you is that takes your mind off what you're trying to communicate, that prevents you from being kind of concise and clear and straightforward and making good eye contact with the camera. Anything distracting, you're going to want to try to reduce. On the other end, anything that is going to distract the viewer. By the way, the good enough threshold is, can I see you and can I hear you? So if you can't clearly be seen, or you can't clearly be heard, or there's some repetitive noise, a car alarm or something that's going to be distracting, anything on the other end for the viewer that's going to make them wonder about anything besides what you're saying is going to inhibit the whole purpose that you made the video. So pay attention to distractions. For all of these, well, except practice maybe. For all of these, if you notice this, it doesn't mean you have to throw the video out and never use it. It just means make it a little bit better the next time. It's an iterative process. Each one's going to be a little bit better than the one before. So pay attention to distractions. Set your camera at or above eye level. Set your camera at or above eye level. And that's going to do two things for you. First, it's going to avoid the awkward up the nose shot. We've all seen this one. I've done it before. It's going to help avoid that, right? Because if you're shooting up, the second thing it's going to do for you addresses that second point of objections, which was, I don't like the way I look. Because looking down at yourself is going to be a little bit more flattering than looking up at yourself. It's about your face and the way your chin is framed in your neck. Looking down at yourself is a little bit more flattering than looking up at yourself. So try to pay attention to where the camera is, and in that way you can do basic things that are going to help you out. Number 4, look directly into the camera lens. So again, across the table over coffee or lunch. If you and I have coffee tomorrow morning, I don't know if we'll do that, but let's just pretend we might. We're going to make regular eye contact. I'm not going to stare you down, But we're going to make regular eye contact. It's going to be conversational. That's the same thing here with looking into the lens. What this means is, do not type out a bunch of words on your computer screen with your webcam and read the words off your screen. Because that's going to be like me having coffee with you and staring at your chin the whole time. You're going to know that I'm looking at you, but I'm not looking in your eyes. It's going to be really uncomfortable and weird. Right? The whole idea here is that human connection, that eye-to-eye, face-to-face piece. And so look the camera in the lens. It doesn't mean you have to stare it down, but it doesn't mean you need to make regular eye contact with it. Number 5, talk to one person. In some cases, that's going to be really easy, like Michael Thorne's example, where he's talking to the woman that was working on the holiday fundraiser with him. He's talking to one person. He knows exactly who she is, and he can talk to her. In the case that the video might be for, let's say, YouTube, and you want hundreds or thousands of people to come find it, watch it, and become new leads of yours. Or it's an email sent to your entire database, or whatever the case may be, even for large audiences, talk to one person. Because that's how these people are watching the video, one at a time. I mean, unless it's a crazy, cute pet video, or a wild sports highlight, or someone falling off a ladder, or any of these silly viral videos, very infrequently do you round someone up to your phone to watch a video with you. Same thing at your computer. And so they're viewing it one at a time, and the idea is that you're connecting with each of those people. Presumably, you made the video for a specific person for a specific purpose. And it just may happen that there are many people of that type. And so before you record your video, think about that one person. Who is this for? Why am I making this? Maybe even, if you can't give them a real name, maybe make up a name. Imagine who they are, basic buyer persona type stuff, right? Imagine who this video is for and have that person in mind before you even start. And you will talk to the camera, you'll talk to the audience as if it's just one person at a time, because that's how they're watching it. You'll make a much stronger connection. Number 6, don't use a script. Now, I love debating. I will argue the both sides of almost any single argument. And I would argue both sides of this. But when I do that, I always come down to the side of do not use a script. And the main reason is it's going to put additional pressure on you to say the exact right words in the exact right order. And even if you nail that, you're going to be a bit more robotic than you would if you were just conversational. Now, am I proposing that you just hit record and wing it? No, I'm not proposing that either. I make an outline. Typically, it's just in my head, and that outline consists of who is this video for, why are they getting it, what are the 1 or 2 things I need them to know, and what's my call to action? What do I want them to do at the end of the video, right? You made this for a purpose, so do you want them to pick up the phone and give you a call? Do you want them to reply to your email? Do you want them to just know a piece of information? Do you want them to go look at your new blog post? Do you want them to go like you on Facebook? What do you want them to do? Why? What's the purpose of this video? Do you want them to click to go see the full listing of this beautiful new property that you have that's a perfect fit for them? Right neighborhood, right price, right? So who is it for? Why are they getting it, or why are they watching it? What is the 1 or 2 most important things that they need to know, and what's the call to action? So I know these things in my head. If it gets more complicated, if it's a longer video, because I do some training videos and a variety of things, and I always try to do them all in one take to inspire people to do things in one take. And in those cases, I will maybe write down my outline. Not just to organize my thoughts, but I might actually tape it to my tripod or tape it underneath my webcam so that I can just glance off and make sure that I don't miss any of my points. So if it gets complicated and you're like, I just did a really good take, but I left out those 2 really important details, support them elsewhere, like in the blog post or in the email or wherever the video is going to live, or make an outline. I like an outline much better than I like a script because it's about being conversational. A little bit technical stuff here, kind of, not really. I didn't go technical here because I want to inspire you to do simple videos. Make sure the light comes primarily from the front. So I think about like a 90-degree angle, right? Like a 90-degree angle, and the light should come from somewhere in here. Not way too high, not too low. Somewhere right in here is the ideal place for the light to come so that you're front lit. Make sure the light is relatively balanced. If you're shooting in your office, let's say, and fortunately for you, it's a wonderful thing. Every morning between 8 a.m. and 10:30 a.m., you have a ton of light coming in through this window. So you're super well lit on this side. Maybe try to balance that out on the other side with another light source, a lamp or something. I'm not talking about expensive professional lights. I'm talking about a lamp or a light source over on this side. In general, by the way, more light is better. Even if you hate your fluorescent lights in your office, turn them all on. Make sure you open up all the windows. More light is always better than less. Almost always. I shouldn't speak in absolutes. More light is better than less. Watch for dark shadows. This is going to be your best sign of bad light. If you're poorly lit, you're going to see dark shadows, right? Like if you're outside at noon shooting and the sun's coming straight down on you, you're going to get those long shadows under your eyes and nose. It's going to be a creepy effect. It's going to like... So, or if the sun is behind you or a big light source is behind you, your whole face is going to be in shadows, your body's going to be in shadows, and the background is going to be blown out. So watch for dark shadows. And again, if you see them, does that mean do it over? No, it happens to me from time to time, and I don't throw the video out. I just need to pay more attention the next time. Again, iterative process, like anything you're doing, like any of your marketing efforts in particular, each time you do it, it should be a little bit better. And so these are the kinds of things that you'll start noticing and paying attention to. I learned many of them the hard way. Number 10, take it outside. I love being outside. I'm a huge fan of being outside. There are a number of studies, particularly around the office environment, about why you should go outside. None of them is really about video. It's about fresh air. It's about sunshine. It's about the rhythm of walking and opening up your mind and getting more creative and things like that. So many health benefits to being outside, as long as you don't live in a city with bad smog like Beijing or something. In any case, you can also shoot videos outside. I love shooting videos outside. I do that very, very often. And one of the main reasons is that you get free light. And if you shoot around 7 to 10 in the morning, like morning, early morning, after sunrise, or say 4 to 7 p.m. in the evening, just before sunset or a bit before sunset. And this, of course, depends on where you are in the country and what time zone you're in and what time of the year it is, because that moves and changes. But if you're there sometime after sunrise or before sunset, you're going to get really nice, flattering light. It's going to be lower on the horizon, right, because it's either rising or setting. So it's going to be in that sweet zone there. If you orient, let's pretend that's the sun. If you orient yourself approximately toward it, you'll be pretty evenly lit. If it's cloudy, I don't mean like super thick, heavy clouds, but like thin clouds or like a nice mid-layer cloud. That's going to be even more flattering than the direct, harsh sunlight, because as the sun goes through those clouds, it's going to diffuse it and soften it out a little bit. And it's going to be really, really flattering. You get really flattering shots outside, particularly in the mornings and the evenings. I love shooting outside. And it opens everything up, by the way. It's not the same as sitting under your fluorescents in a confined space that you're very intimately familiar with. And so it opens it up. Find and use 2 or 3 locations. There are a number of reasons I like this. I'll mention 2 of them. First one is flexibility. Let's say you get that call that Jeff Rubenstein got. Hey, I got this family that's going to be moving up to Fort Collins, and they're going to be buying a really nice home. You might want to reach out to them, right? If you get these opportunities that are appropriate for video, you think about it and you say, okay, I got a number of ways I could communicate this, and you really want to communicate with that sincerity, the emotion, that personal connection, and all of that. Having multiple locations is going to give you more flexibility to get that done. Places that you're comfortable shooting. I know what it's like in this place, and I'm comfortable shooting here. The second reason is novelty. It's going to be more novel for you. If you decide to start shooting videos on a regular basis, having multiple places to do it is going to make it a little bit more interesting for you. In addition, it's going to make it more interesting for your audience, right? If you're going to be sending these videos or sharing these videos with approximately the same group of folks, maybe a monthly market update newsletter type piece, then having multiple locations, it'll be a novelty for them as well. So it keeps it interesting. Where are these locations? Home, 1 or 2 spots maybe in your home, 1 or 2 spots in your office, maybe somewhere in between, a park or a spot over the water, or in my case, I have a couple of places where I can shoot with a nice Pikes Peak backdrop. So think about someplace in between the home and the office. And so no matter where you are in the normal course of your day, you have places that you're comfortable with. You know what it's like. You know, in the morning, I can get a nice shot where, you know, I get all these nice leafy trees behind me in the spring when they all come back out. Something like that. So multiple locations is going to be good for you. It's going to be more interesting for you. It's going to make it a little bit more fun. That's a theme, by the way. Everyone that I talked to, whose examples I shared, it's fun. They like doing it. It's way better than it's much more natural. Finally, find your rhythm and keep your momentum. If you like anything that I've said, if you aspire to do anything that I proposed, you're going to need to make a habit that does not exist today. You're going to need to find your rhythm. And that rhythm could be every 3rd Saturday, I'm going to shoot a video that's going to tee up my monthly market update, where I talk about the interesting things that are going on in the market, what's new, whether this is a great time for buyers or sellers, a nice call to action, a request for referrals. I'm going to do that every 3rd Saturday. So I'm going to shoot video every 3rd Saturday. Or maybe it's, I'm going to show up in the office 5 minutes early every day. and make one thank you note for people, right? Not a handwritten note, this personal eye-to-eye, face-to-face piece, particularly for people that you have not seen in a long time, to see you and experience you. So maybe it's going to be every morning for just 2 or 3 minutes that you're going to say thank you to someone in your overall sphere of influence. No matter what that rhythm, maybe it's Tuesday afternoons, I'm going to go out and shoot some property videos or whatever. Whatever your rhythm is going to be, you need to find that and keep that momentum. Otherwise, this will just be something that you thought about and tried, and then a year and a half from now, you'll be like, damn, yeah, I really did want to do videos. Yeah, I'll start that up again, right? So you need to make a habit that doesn't exist today. I'm going to close because you rock, and this was kind of fun. Here you go.
And I want to let you know that you guys rock. So here we go. Oh, wait. See if we can hear that. No way. It is going to be good. Thanks. Perfect. Start your room.
That's it, right? If you want to see more examples, we have 9 specific examples that are more structured around your business, following up with new online leads, staying in front of past clients, all these specific examples. We have those in our booth. We're in the exhibit hall in 718. At 1 o'clock, Michael Thorne, who you saw twice in this deck, and Melanie Gallia will be doing another session around video. Different stuff, but also about video. So that's 1 o'clock. I don't know what room that's in, so you're going to want to check your schedule. I do have like 2 or 3 minutes if anyone has any questions. Questions? Yes? So, almost any service you're going to use for video. She's asking, she says, for compliance sake, can I keep a record of these videos? And the answer is yes. So with YouTube or with our service, you upload that video in or you shoot it straight in. If you join our service, it's indefinite video hosting on a server, and you will always have access to that unless you choose to delete it. In addition, we'll tell you when it got played. If you sent it in an email, we'll tell you the email address of the person that got played, what device it was played on, and all of that. So we do have a number of people. I'm not selling our service, by the way, but if you're interested, I would be happy to sell to you. We have a number of people using the software for compliance sake, primarily around documents and when documents get accessed as well. So yes, yes. Great question, common question. She's asking, how long should my videos be? Very common question. In general, 60 to 90 seconds max. Specifically, there is an inverse relationship between how well targeted the video is and how long the video can be. So if I make a video for my whole database, it should be nice and concise. But if you are my buyer and you're on vacation in Europe, and a home comes on the market in the neighborhood and price point we've been talking about, I can walk and talk that property for you for 15 minutes. And you will watch every second of it because it's just for you. So the more targeted it is, the more specific it is, the more highly relevant and valuable it is, the longer you can get away with. But in general, I shoot for 60 to 90 seconds. Yes?
Is it a link or is it a file attached?
Good question. The software that we've, or the technology we've developed is video in email. So it's a live streaming situation. When someone clicks play, the video streams to them. It streams smartly, so when you put one video in, we turn it into more than a dozen versions of that exact same video automatically for you and store those and host those indefinitely for you free. It doesn't have to be a full load. It's live streaming. So the same as you would click play on a YouTube video, it's going to load up and load up and load up. So the smart streaming deal, though, the reason we make multiple formats is when someone clicks play, we detect the device and the quality of their internet connection and stream them the most appropriate version. So if you put in a full HD video, but I get it on a 2G connection on my Android, I'm not going to try to choke down a full HD video. We will serve for you automatically to that person a lower quality version that's more appropriate for their situation at that moment. Yes?
Do you have any advice for audio?
Excellent. He's asking about advice for audio. So as I recommended with the camcorder, and I would say the same thing maybe for a mobile device if you're going to use it a lot, I like having a separate microphone. Now, I have a little one. It's a Sony wireless microphone. It costs $150. And one of them plugs into my camera. The other one I can hold in my hand or clip onto my shirt. If you want to use it with your iPhone, you can get an adapter that will turn your headphone out into a microphone in, so that you can use that microphone. I do like microphones. I wouldn't spend a ton of cash on them. And frankly, I don't know what your budget is, but I wouldn't go out and spend a bunch of money. And that's my theme on the camera slide is don't go out and spend a bunch of money. It's okay to spend 50 or 60 bucks now, and as soon as you realize this isn't good enough for where I want to be, that's when you go out and get the $200, $300 microphone or whatever. So read reviews, use Google. I do like an external microphone. What kind of camera are you talking about?
DSLR.
Excellent, right, so you already have a microphone in. Yeah, you're in good shape. The one that I use is a Sony Bluetooth wireless mic. It's the ECM AW3. And they're like little silver bullet style things that are about as big as your thumb. And so it's big enough to hold, but awkwardly small for that. And it's small enough to clip on, but awkwardly big for that. But because it does both, I love it. I've used it for more than 2 years. Sure. And it comes with a little windscreen. Yes? Yes. Yep. There are a number. No, we will. Actually, the special that we brought to this event is we'll make you one of those free and load it into your account if you join us at this event. We normally charge $150 for that service. Other companies charge hundreds more than that. So you can either make your own, you can bring in the HTML of another design, you can hire us to make one for you, or you can join us here at KickStart and we'll do that for you free and load it into your account. Nice personal branding. We do like a skyline or your headshot or whatever you want, links to your social, links to your website and all that. And we'll tell you exactly who's clicking links and all that. Yes? Oh, sorry, did you raise your hand? No, sorry. What's that? I don't have control over that anymore. But I can show it to you right here. Yes. Yeah, it's a Sony.